The visibility block, why you're holding back in your messaging. Most people think struggling with messaging is all about strategy. And yes, that does factor in at some point. Finding the right words, dialing in your niche, refining your positioning, and properly articulating what a qualified lead is. But for many, the real barrier isn't external, it is internal. Your nervous system doesn't just fear failure. It fears being fully seen with no place to hide. This isn't just self-doubt or imposter syndrome. It's a survival response. And one of the most common ways we unconsciously protect ourselves, we apply a safety filter. Not just one on social media to make your nose look more snatched or our skin to look smoother, but in how we present ourselves, articulate our ideas, and position our work. Code switching and self-perception. That's the real hidden conflict in messaging. Many of my clients don't just struggle with what do I say, but more so, who am I allowed to be while still saying it? For me, as a biracial woman navigating both corporate America and entrepreneurship over the years, I had to unlearn the habit of code switching. In corporate, I subconsciously adjusted my language, my tone, and my presence depending on the room that I was entering in. Let me keep it real with you. My customer service voice went to Harvard, okay? I was fluent in fitting in and being a chameleon and adapting to the environment. And when I stepped into my own business, that same skill became my liability. I wasn't positioning myself authentically because I had been conditioned to adapt rather than own my own full presence. You might be listening to this right now and experiencing a version of this for yourself. If you've ever felt like you're posting consistently, but your messaging is not connecting, it feels like you are screaming in a room full of people and no one hears you. If you water down and whitewash your opinions because you're afraid of not saying it right, how people might perceive you wrong, or you just haven't had a lot of space to even know what your point of view even is, or if you hesitate to fully own your perspective because it feels like stepping into a spotlight you're not sure is safe. It's too vulnerable, and that discomfort has you hesitating to claim fully what's true, so you default to more generic, vague language to play it safe. If any of that resonates with you, then what you're dealing with isn't just a clarity problem. It is a safety issue. Your brain isn't just afraid of making a mistake. It's afraid of being seen fully, clearly, and without a mask. So it filters. You were taught that standing out made you a target. You learned that visibility equaled exposure and exposure equaled risk. Your nervous system associates success with danger, so it keeps you safe by making you hesitate, soften your message, or second guess yourself. This is why so many brilliant business owners self-sabotage their own visibility. You delay launching because it's not ready yet. You hold back in your marketing because you don't want to be too bold, too much, or worse, too black, too brown, too whatever it is, You stay in a loop of tweaking and refining instead of stepping forward and taking action. Your brain is protecting you, but at what cost? If your messaging feels misaligned, the question isn't just what should I say? It's what am I filtering out? Your messaging isn't just about clarity. It's about safety and owning your truth. Safety in being seen as the expert you are. Safety in owning your perspective without filtering or diluting. Safety in not just speaking to your audience, but standing firmly in your identity. This is the deeper work of positioning, not just how you show up in the market, but how you see yourself in the process. So some things I want you to reflect on as you're thinking about this as it correlates to your messaging is, where do you code switch in your messaging? Where are you softening or adjusting your language to be more palatable, to make others feel more comfortable? Where do you downplay your perspective out of fear of being perceived a certain way? And what would your messaging sound like if you trusted your identity enough to say it fully? And the thing is, you probably are already doing this in private, on coaching calls with your clients or during sales calls with prospects. What are you saying in private that it's time to start claiming in public? Your most powerful positioning won't come from what you think people want to hear. It will come from removing the filter and saying what you actually believe, what your actual values are, and really probably what your clients know you for behind the scenes. Because real success isn't just about being seen. It's about feeling safe enough to let yourself be seen.